You are listening to A Scary State, and this week we have a special spooky special. And Lauren's not here, so I hope you're ready to get scary. Happy Halloween for those who celebrate. As I mentioned in last week's episode, Lauren and I were not able to get together to record a new episode for you guys, but we didn't want to leave you episode-less. So Lauren had a great idea, and I'm going to share some of our favorite and spookiest episodes that you can go back and listen to or re-listen to and get yourself in the spooky spirit. Next week, we will be back to sharing scary stories from a state in the U.S. First up, we have one of our earlier episodes, our first Rhode Island episode, episode 28, titled A Road, sure you can imagine how that's spelled, to Vampires and Hauntings, and has a great story about the house that inspired a infamous scary movie franchise, The Conjuring. Afterwards, you can watch the movies. I won't, but it's a good idea for you guys. Our first Texas episode, episode 35, titled Texas's Black-Eyed Killers, has a couple of spooky stories involving eyeballs. Nora talks about the eyeball killer who wreaked havoc in Dallas in the early 1990s. Lauren shares the legend of the Black-Eyed Kids. Their namesake pretty much tells you all you need to know about what these kids look like if you ever have the unfortunate circumstance of encountering them. Our second New York episode, episode 104, titled The Dark Side of New York, truly shows the dark side of the Empire State. Lauren shares the true story behind the Amityville horror films and all the terrifying events that took place in that house in Amityville, New York. And if you're not like me, hopefully Lauren's story will inspire you to watch the Amityville horror movies. And then sticking to this dark theme, I share the only murder to occur during the infamous 1977 New York City blackout. Another one of our earlier episodes, and actually one of my first episodes, episode 53, Killer in Curses in Connecticut, is one of my favorites and definitely spooky. I talk about a serial killer that is possibly responsible for 50 to 60 deaths in the early part of the 20th century. Lauren talks about an occult museum that is filled with all sorts of items that are both haunted and cursed. These items were collected by Ed and Lauren Warren, who were paranormal investigators and associated with very prominent cases of alleged hauntings. Another scary movie I won't watch, but you totally could after listening to this episode. So in addition to some of our spooky state episodes, we also have our past spooky specials. Episodes 29 to 32 are our very first October specials. Lauren and Nora talk about haunted games like the elevator game and the triple mirror game. They also cover torture methods from medieval times and terrifying urban legends. Episode 30 is another one of my personal favorites. Lauren and Nora interview two locksmiths from the DMV area, which is not the driving DMV, but like Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, for those of you that don't know. And the stories that these guys share are truly eerie and jaw-dropping, in my opinion. We also have our second round of Halloween-inspired episodes, which are episodes 69 to 72. Lauren and I cover cursed objects and Halloween crimes. And then we have an episode inspired by one of Lauren's favorite topics, disappearances, and an episode all about witches. Our third round of spooky specials were episodes 121 to 124. Lauren and I each take over an episode and talk about a subject that intrigues us. So I cover all there is to know about cults. And Lauren shares a mysterious story about the Dyatlov Pass, which is in the mountains of former Soviet Russia. And her episode includes a very special guest, so I highly recommend. We also talk about true stories that inspired popular scary movies. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we also cover encounters people have had with notorious serial killers and survived to tell the tale. In conclusion, we have lots of spooky episodes that can help put you in the spooky spirit as we close out this spooky season. Of course, if you haven't already, our current spooky special episodes cover scary stories from the water, fears and phobias, and two very scary dudes. And last but not least, for all who celebrate, we at A Scary State wish you a scary, safe, and happy Halloween.